Okay, guys, I think we can start. So, hello everyone. Today we're gonna talk about our seventh task, and this task is about authorization. I checked this one, and basically it's not very hard for you. I believe 6.1 should be much harder for you, but inside the task 7 we have additional challenge for you, which is actually just this point for practice, no evaluation, but I really recommend you to go through this one and try to connect Cognito. And let's go for the seventh task from scratch. Yeah. So the main goal of task 7 is to create authorization service. So you will have to create a new folder for your authorization service. So you will have to add actually just one small lambda here, and this lambda should just check credentials of the user which got into your application. So this task is pretty simple. You will have to create just one small lambda. As you can see in my code, this whole task is just one small lambda to handle your authorization. I will not show you the logic of this one here because I already showed you too much, I think, during this course. And inside this, just I can tell you what should be inside this lambda, inside this handler. You will have to create some logic, and this logic should just check the authorization credentials of the user which got inside your application. So main idea of the task is that when you try and inside 7.2 you can see this one. Yeah, so the main idea is like when you're trying to import something, you have to check the authorization of the user and check the token user created inside the application and pull it, check this one with the help of your authorization lambda. And authorization lambda just should get your token, parse this one down and check is this user has a permission to import files here. Yeah, so this task is pretty simple. You just have to create token on the front end side, and you have to check this token on the backend side. And also, as you can see, those tokens are pretty simple. We don't need you to create like additional database to store the data of the users. You just need to create like small get GitHub account login, get password, and as you can see, password should be test password. It should be every time the same. So this task is pretty simple, but the hard part and the most interesting part is right here. So after you created everything you need during this task, you created your authorization service, you checked all the tokens, you checked the passwords, and it works. I highly recommend you to go to this site. This site will take much more effort from you. I truly believe maybe next run we will make this task based on the Cognito, because Cognito itself is just a service of AWS which provides you an ability to store user data inside AWS, inside Amazon. So Amazon will handle all the user data. You don't have to care about it, and the Cognito will just give you specific credentials, anonymous credentials, which you can store inside your database. And it's really good way for your applications, for your real-life applications, to store user-based data, because we all know that user data usually protected by some laws in countries, and if you store the data wrong, you will be charged by authorities, with a very high amount of money. And Cognito is just the way to safely store user data. You don't care about, like, I don't store like emails or passwords of my users. Amazon do it for me and just give me some anonymous information about which user just entered my application. So Cognito is really great. GDPR, I'm talking about it. I just don't want to go specific. So we have like GDPR for Europe, we have like the other, I don't remember the right naming for American laws. So user data is very perceptive. It's really, when you're trying to store something about the user, you should be care about it, because it's big pain if you store the data in the wrong way. So Cognito is the service which have to help you if you create like small application. Yeah, you as a business owner, you want to create some small application which will just log in the user and do something, and you don't want to handle cases with the user data. So Cognito is the way when you can store the data safely for yourself. So yeah, I think the main goal of the task is pretty simple. We create Lambda, we use it with GitHub account login and test password, but I can tell you that this is not very good way to store data of the users, but we just want to try to check authorization stuff right here, so you can like practice in it. Yes, how to encode tokens, how to decode tokens, and use Cognito. Try to use Cognito. It's pretty helpful service for people who want to create their own applications. Yeah, and I really believe, and I want you to hear me, Vanet, so maybe on the next run we want to be Cognito based on this task, because this stuff is really cool thing, and this one is pretty not really high security stuff which we create here, but just for practice it will be enough for us. So that's it for task 7. Just create a small lambda which will check your tokens and do handlers inside the import. So your import lambda should just call your authorization service and check, does this user allowed to do some stuff with your files, or maybe this user is not allowed to import files inside your database. So it's just to, so inside this task we just test our mechanism of authorization, how it works. Usually it's pretty simple. We have token, we check token. If user is allowed, we give him permission. If he is not allowed, we just send him back with 403 status HTTP, like you are not authorized to do anything about on this stuff. Show how to test Lambda functions. How to test Lambda functions, you just have to, I'm pretty sure that I showed it before, like you just have to, your Lambda functions usually stored inside like handlers. Yeah, we have like from my side, yeah, I have like small Lambda handler, and it has some logic inside, it has some callbacks inside, some cycle small, and I have test just for my handler right here. Yeah, so I usually we test everything with mocks. We don't want to actually trigger our endpoints. Yeah, we just want to create mock data. So as you can see here, I can mock return values for my handler, and I just run handler with some dummy data, and I'm expecting the result. So when you it's not about basically testing of the Lambda functions is the same as you test any JS function. So every Lambda handler is a small function. Yeah, so it's just small asynchronous function. So you have to use all the stuff you use usually when you test data, when you test functions in normal JS. So just mock all the AWS libraries, mock all the, I don't know what else, database libraries. Yeah, so in my case, for example, create product is a function which do a transaction for Postgres. Yeah, and when I test this one, I don't want to create anything inside my database. So I just believe that my create product works. Yeah, so my idea is to test the functionality of my function at all. So I don't want to check create product here. If I want, I will create like a separate test for my create product function. It will be stored somewhere else, and it will just check the return of Postgres client transaction. So it's the other case. Yeah, so in my case I want to test my handler, so I don't want to test create product. And as you can see here, I just do mock return value from my create product, and I just telling like, you will return me a product. That's it. What's the best practice to mock AWS SDK version 3? You just mock this one. So in my case, as you can see, so for example, I have all my service like SNS, for example, as you can see. Yeah, my SNS is I have handler. I have a separate function which creates an instance of SNS client right here. So yeah, and I use this one inside my functions, and it is why I do this, because it's really easier to test my functions later on, because all I have to do, and you can see it here, I just mock my road where I stored my utility, which actually instantiate my SNS service, and I just created like my dummy response from this service. So it means that my SNS.send should just take argument and return them back. So that's one of the best ways. It's actually it's just a best practice not only for AWS SDK. It's best practice for any library you use anywhere, because you don't want to test libraries, you want to mock them usually, because if library doesn't work, so it's not actually your problem, it's the problem of the library creators. Yeah, and when we create our own unit tests, we usually believe that library we use, it works, and if it doesn't, we usually have bugs and we report them to collaborators for people who created this library. And we don't want to test this one, we want to test our code, we don't want to test third-party code usually in any project. So when you use any third-party API, you pretty always have to store all the imports somewhere else for easier mock of this one. So in my case, as you can see, yes, I have like my client SNS, I stored it in separate library, and for me it's really simple to mock this one, because I just mock this file completely and I mock the return value of this file, and in my test I never use my AWS service here. I think I can check like get maybe somewhere else. I will have src, give me yeah, so here for example, yeah, as you can see I have SQS. Yeah, so I have a library for SQS, I have library for S3, and later on I just mock everything inside the AWS SDK. I believe this one just get signed URL. Yeah, I used get signed URL callback inside my handler, so I just imported it, mocked it, and I just expect this one to be called. That's it. So this is the other way of mocking this stuff. So in my case, it's get signed URL. As you can see, I just mocked import, and then I just awaits that this one should be called, and that's it. And it works. I really believe this test works for me. I saw different implementations while review students works, and which is best enough or not very good implementation. My implementations is the way I see it. It's like I'm not very big expert in unit testing. Yeah, I just make unit tests. I make them almost every day. I write them down, and I just created some kind of my own practice. Yeah, so I created practices of myself, which I see are very convenient, which are very useful, and they're pretty easy to use. So for example, in my own projects, when I work with unit tests, I usually reuse my own previous unit tests as a boilerplate for next test. Yeah, because some people do tests in the other ways. Yeah, and I don't see them very, I don't know, I just can't get used to them, and I'm just trying to create, or when I create the tests, I want to be them as simple as it possible. So this one is pretty more of my practice. I really believe some people use the same approach, because it's this approach just making my unit testing as easy as it's possible, because I never test anything outside of my code. So that's the point of unit testing. And that's how I try to create all the approach. So these tests, yeah, they all are made by me. So every student, I think, will create them differently, and that's my approach, because I don't want to like call some, like, just mock my product's database. I don't want to call anything which is related to database. Yeah, so I just mocked everything inside my DB products. I just waiting this one. I mocked return values, and that's it. So because if I will have like I don't know, a task to create tests for my create product SQLs, so okay, I will create separate tests for them. So that's more about unit testing at all. Yeah, so when we unit test something, we try to test units because when you create unit test, you want to create the unit. But if your unit contains something inside, and this something is tested inside this one, it's not anymore a unit test, it's integration test, because you don't test your unit, you also testing like integration of the something else inside your unit, and it's the different kind of the testing. And when you create unit test, you want to test only like, so when I see like this handler, yeah, so just take a look at this one. What I want to test here, I want to test try, I want to test catch blocks. Yeah, first of all, it's first 2 points I want. So first of all, I want to maybe do something that I will test my catch block, so I will see my console log and build response. I will just have to test my response. Also, what I want to test here, I don't want to test JSON parse ability. Yeah, I don't want to test like check body parameters util like at all. I want to mock this one, but if it's not too very hard, so maybe I will run this one inside my unit. Okay, and then I want to check this block, like just decide what the valid data, what is not, and how it works. And I don't want to test like this. I will mock this result all the time. So this small util, maybe I will not mock. It's not very good, but in ideal world, of course, I had to have tests for this utility. Yeah, so this utility should have its own tests, and when I test my create product, I just mock this function, and I just mock the response of this function, and I never run this function inside my unit, just to be sure that there are no side effects for my handler from this unit, from this function. So every unit test should be responsible only for the current function. In real world, not a perfect and not ideal, we usually don't create unit tests for small parts like this one. Yeah, it's not many logic here, but so this one will be run inside handler, but not great practice. But usually developers just don't have enough time to create unit tests for everything, and we try to cover with one unit test as much as possible, but sometimes it's just becoming very messy, because when you have a very big function, and this function has imports from the other sides of your project, you just test something inside your unit, and you will have like, I don't know, maybe 15 different cases for your unit, which actually don't have so much cases. You have this 15 cases just because you imported like 10 different utils inside this one. And in this case, yeah, it will be better to create separate tests for your 10 units, and for your handler you created, it will have like maybe two cases, maybe even less, because all the other stuff is tested inside somewhere else. So yeah, just try to choose approach you like, but from my side, I can tell that your unit tests should be very simple. They should be really good readable, just so you can watch at this one and understand what these tests do. So sometimes they just become too complex, and that's the part of unit testing. It's it's always many talks about how should be unit testing be done, but from my perspective, I read very many material about unit testing, very many courses about unit testing, and that's how I come to my own approach, which I believe is very good. I still got no negative reviews from my project, so I believe that works. This should fit first principles. Yeah. Yep. Okay, guys. Not much of you here. I believe next run will be more flooded with people. I really believe we always start with less people in our RS new courses, and they just grow and grow. But I still glad to be here for you, and I believe I was helpful. And just try your authorization service, and as I told you before, do the task. It won't take much time, but I especially recommend you to go through this one. Yeah, we don't have in this run points for Cognito, but I really highly recommend you to check this one, because Cognito is very great service for you to create your own applications and to handle user data. And when you handle user data with Cognito, you just like throw away from yourself all the responsibility for user data and send it to AWS, and it's really cool. I have run out of free limit S3 requests in free tier. Whoa. Dude, you really... I never ran out of free limit in S3. Maybe you got DDoSed yourself, because I never got such... maybe you just imported too many files. Maybe you have to check your own S3. Maybe this your account was used for other... I don't know how... for other... some days 100 plus requests for CDK. It's pretty much, I believe. Maybe it's because of CDK, but it's too much. Oh yeah, I got it. It's because you deploy something with CDK, and CDK uses S3 to store data. So yeah, maybe you have to run it not so hard. Maybe just create the other AWS account with free tier. It's a bit annoying. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, CDK stack stores the data inside S3, so yeah. You had to be careful before. Now it's maybe too late, so maybe you just create a new Google account, create new free tier, and don't be so know how to sell. Don't run deployments too often to not exceed S3 limits, because I never meant this one. Some days I run 10 plus deploys. It's not that much. I don't know. Maybe they changed something inside S3, because 10 plus deploys is not that much, but maybe CDK just brings too much data. Yeah. Okay, we will... actually, you are the only one who complains about this one. Just try not to deploy too often. Maybe somehow spread this one, or maybe just create another account for other tasks, like move all your stuff you already done. It will take like one deploy, and to the other. That's yeah, it will be quite cheap. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So maybe you can stay on this one to create authorizer via CDK GUI. We need to create Lambda with CDK, not the authorizer, Evgeny. So yeah, you don't have to create authorizer with CDK. You just have to create Lambda, which will use simple authorization, and I believe Cognito stuff will be used just inside your Lambdas too. Yeah, add Cognito authorizer to Lambdas. Yeah, so you don't have to create anything with SDK. You just have to go through Cognito documentation, through Cognito material we gave you, check how this stuff works, and add this one to already existing Lambdas. Yeah. Yeah, it will be, so as people say, it will cost not too much for you. I also got my free tier. My free tier not long ago was demolished, and it was like it just expired. Yeah, and I went inside my billing stuff, inside my AWS, and I found out that from some course I took part, like maybe previous year, yeah, like a year ago, when I just started to learn, to start a new. Can we just go to AWS? Thank you, Amazon. Why can't you just log in me in, please? Don't be so dummy. Give me a second. So yeah, I got charged by AWS to log out. Okay, let's log out. Can we now sign in? Can you just get me inside? So yeah, I got charged, and I can also show you, I believe, the bill I got. It's not too big, but it just gave me information where was the leak. Because one of my services was running and I had no idea it was running. I couldn't find it, and it was a bit surprise for me. But at this time it was not high. Yeah, as you can see, my current month cost is like 0.57 bucks, and I got charged by RDS. Yeah, as you can see. So it was not good for me. I was like, it's meh, but not so much also. Can I check costs shown are unblended? Let me check, like, is there any button I can like press this one and go to my cost and usage? Can I? I really can. Yes, yes, Amazon. No, go to cost management. Oh, it's pretty simple. Give me a second. So I just want to show you this because it's my own experience. It's my first experience when I was charged by AWS, and it was for me like, why I was charged. So as you can see, I got this one here, 0.59. I got, it was like billing console. Oh yeah, yeah, billing console, please. Billing management console. I think I found the data right here in billing management console. My budget is okay, yeah, because my budget was at $1, so 59 cents was not a big deal for my budget. There's 0. Yeah, so as you can see here inside the bills, I can see that I got charged for $0.58, not too much, 58 cents actually, and you can see where this RDS service was stored. So it took place inside EU Ireland. It is actually Europe EU West 1, and usually I work with on EU West 3. So I believe when I was doing something with RDS, I placed my RDS database on EU West 1 cluster, and I completely forgot about this one, and I didn't found it in time, so I got charged. So guys, just try to check this billing boy, and always be sure that you know where your data is stored inside there, inside Amazon, because I completely lost this RDS instance, and I found it only when I got charged by Amazon. It's not big, it's really not big, but still, like, yeah, as you can see, when I come to RDS, my default is North Virginia. It's EU, not EU, it's US server, and here I don't have any databases here, and I checked, like, oh, okay, I don't have any databases here, but be sure to check everything, every single cluster here, because when I came to Ireland, now I believe I deleted this one. Let's check. I really believe I deleted this one like 2 weeks ago. So when I came to Ireland, I found my RDS instance, like which is like, I don't know, maybe 8 months ago was created and never used. Yeah, no instance found now, so I removed this one and I won't be charged next month. So yeah, guys, just be sure you create your budget, set it to $1. It's not big money. I really believe it's not big money for you. And if you are if you see that you are going to free tier like threshold, yeah, so you can't use your account anymore, so you have to choose. Maybe what will be easier for you to spend, like maybe $1-2 for this one for AWS, or maybe to create a new account. Unfortunately, we can't provide you with the accounts for Amazon. Yeah, Amazon just don't give us some stuff of like this, and we do everything possible to make this course free for you, and but main part of being free for this course, it really depends on you, so on your usage of the services. So just try to be careful, guys. We just want, all what you can do is just ask you to be careful, to check, to deploy less times, to check your code twice, maybe triple times, yeah, before you deploy, just not to exceed Amazon services. Yeah. Okay, so about task 7, I said everything I could, and about task 8 on the next week. And the next week is this task is about moving your database and integrate your database with RDS. Yeah, and the people who are here, I really believe they were here like 3 weeks ago. Who not, guys, I will create an announcement in Discord, and I think we will not do the session because I will be on vacations, the first reason. And the second reason is pretty simple, because I told everything I could about RDS, about how to create databases inside RDS. We also tried to create database to connect to this one with dbeaver. So actually I just made everything you need for task 8 in a scope of the video for task 4. So in Discord I will just create an announcement that it will be no session, and I will add the link to task 4 introduction, so you could check this one, because we really went through everything I could tell you about databases. And also, just to be honest with you guys, I don't want to go through this hell again of creating the database, trying to connect to this one, going through security stuff. Oh, it's just a pain in the ass. Have downloaded billing that customized my days and saw daily S3 packets request amount by each sources. So maybe someone who checked your maybe you got dosed by someone who checked your task, but I don't think so. Just it will be really hard for you. Yeah, just create a new Gmail account, create new Amazon account, and in one deploy. That's actually the good point of this course. So you can learn how easy you can move all the stuff you made to another account. Here you just have to like create account, add log into this account through your AWS CLI, and press deploy button, and all your services will just go to the new account. So yeah, maybe just don't deploy too often, and because I know and it's the first time during this course. I passed this course once with other students, and it's the first time I see someone just got exceeded S3 free tier requests. Yeah. But as Mar told us earlier, like 1,000 requests costs like not a half of the cent. So I think if you have like maybe 2 cents, you can go through this and spend this one on Amazon. Jeff Bezos will be glad to see your 2 cents, maybe 1 cent. And just it's just not too much, I really think. It's not, but maybe just try to push it not so hard. I believe that another WhatsApp request not much than $1. Yeah, so as it's told just a few comments uppers that 1,000 of requests is actually half of the cent. So you have to like do some stuff to go to $1 here for your S3. Yeah. Okay, guys. That's it from me. Thank you very much for coming. This session was much longer than I expected, and I'm really glad that you had some questions and we made some answers for you, and hopefully I helped you with this stuff. Next time, I don't know about, as I still told you just a few minutes ago, we will not meet next week. I will create announcements in Discord next week. I will link all the videos you need. And about the task 9, I'm not sure. Am I gonna run through this one with you, because I'm not very good in containerization, and I really want to find some expert who can come and tell you stuff about the Docker related stuff, and I think we will find someone to give you information about Docker. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we will meet at the 10th, so in 3 weeks with you. So I can only wish you a good week. This task is not so hard. It won't take long from you. It will take long from you maybe to learn Cognito, but I repeat, highly recommend this one for you, because it's a really great service and it's used a lot in startup applications, because it's the easiest way to store user data. And we will see you later on. Just ask your questions in Discord. People always happy to help you, and be ready to help someone else if you already pass some task and you know the answers. Don't be shy, tell the answers to other people, because helping each other is really great thing, and it's the best way when you can do in our school. Okay, so have a good week. Have a good summer, I believe. It's really hot outside, so see you in a few weeks, and just go to Discord if you have any questions. Yeah, to this one, not to this one. Yeah, to this one. Yeah, I found. So I will create announcement later about the next week. Thank you very much, and goodbye.